segment of Conversations in the Nick of Time. I'm your host, Nikki Roach, and as always, it's a joy, an absolute joy to be with you. And I thank you for lending me your ear, your hands, your head, your heart. Just for a moment, you know, we bring you mentoring moments in this space. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is the destination to provide you virtual encouragement and the tools and resources that you may need to take your leadership to the next level. Many of us have experienced some level of success, yet it is a difference to lean a little bit into significance. And that's what we do here to help you not only prepare to make your life different and make your life better, but how do we begin to leave our fingerprints, our footprints in the earth so that even after we transition, because we all have an appointed time, the work that we've done and the call that we've answered continues. Each of us has something special. And so we highlight that, we bring that out, while also hearing about the journeys of others who may have also gotten a little further than we are at the moment. And so we don't have to learn all the lessons by ourselves, but there are mentors and champions and advisors and counselors, and I can go on and on with some names that we call individuals that serve in this space to help us get tooled and retooled. And I'm delighted to have one with me today. You've seen her beautiful face a number of times, and I'm just happy and delighted to have her here with us. But don't forget, we have sponsors and partners who make this moment possible, and we are so grateful for them. TV Network, ALA Public Relations, Music and Media, Covenant Exchange, STL Jubilee 690 AM, Mosaic Ceiling, and Sparkman Publications. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Words can't express how grateful I am and the team happens to be for your continued support. And then also you. Many of you follow us throughout the whole season and beyond. A number of you have hit me up in regards to on demanding some of the things. So that makes my heart glad. That lets me know we're doing a good job. So on to our host. Our co-host today, because we're going to share this space. Jennifer Littles is back. How you doing?
Awesome. How are you?
On top of the world.
That's a great place to be.
I know, and really from the inside out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing very, very well.
That's awesome.
So we have had the opportunity to connect in some very interesting ways, even from the very beginning, because it was you having known my father, which, yes, those of you, I forgot to even acknowledge that. So they had me crying earlier because I am in the Dr. Charles M. Roach Legacy Center. Yes. Can't you see?
Absolutely beautiful. Yep.
But yes, and this is one of the spots that we ran into each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On a somber occasion, walking through the building, I was actually going out of the building. You and your mom were coming into the building. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, it was kismet, as they say. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I love running into you. You called me the other night, and first thing I did was looked around. I was like, are you in here?
Because we always, and then you weren't even living here at one point, and it's like still running to you, like eating. Of course, that's our thing, right?
Isn't that a love language?
Right.
Is that a love language?
Right.
That's the sixth one. That's the one they didn't mention.
Listen, we're gonna make it up. We've got it. Yes, food, and then chicken wings. That's our.
You know it's a shortage.
So that's our thing. That's our connection. Chicken wings and waffles, right? So so you've been traveling the world, doing a lot of production work.
Yeah.
Still, your hands and your heart is in that space, and then you find yourself saying, yes, let me do some special segments, thoughts from my pen. Where did that concept even come up?
So it's really weird how that whole thoughts from my pen, it was all, on social media, on Facebook, in the little box where you just write out your post, it says, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's a lot on my mind. And
she talks back to the Facebook page.
So I decided to just every time I go on social media, if I choose to make a post, it's going to be what's on my mind. I wanted to normalize. I think sometimes we get confused at what normalcy looks like because of all of the creators out there.
Yeah.
You know, this whole digital world. I'm sorry, this new hair is worrying me. But
It's cute though. It's cute.
In this digital world, you know, these creators can create this lifestyle, and I find that people find themselves competing with something that's not necessarily real.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to share thoughts on my mind. One, to normalize that it's okay to have questions, to normalize having these random thoughts, and that there are 20,000 different things running through my head at the very moment that I'm writing this. And no, I didn't prep for those. And so I would just...
Like they were just genuine thoughts.
These are the thoughts on my mind.
Right, and it was so funny because it started off, I would read them every now and then, and I'm horrible, absolutely horrible with social media.
Yeah.
Maybe next quarter I'll get better. I've been trying and saying I'm gonna do better, but I don't. But I did for a period of time anticipate, which is going to be a word that I'm going to raise later on today. Anticipate these top 10 thoughts on your mind. And it would be something as simple as, I smiled today.
Yeah.
All the way to, my eyebrows are rocking.
Today.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, today. Because they're not always matching. Like sometimes they're like neighbors.
People don't understand.
It's a whole
thing. They're not twins. They're never twins.
Never twins. Never twins. The goal is to look like they're related. That's the goal.
Listen, I did a class with, I know we all... I did a class with Nettie Kelly.
Wait, how are they today?
Listen, don't have...
Okay.
On point.
Good.
I know, with the Nancy. I love Nancy here. You are a mess. Focus. So that's to both of us.
Yes.
So you had these thoughts, but then the thoughts, they grew and they grew, and then there's always been just a silver lining of humor to not, and a lightness of being.
Yeah.
If I could use that word. Yet there were some principles that you were teaching us as you began to list those. And I think we all should be doing that.
I do. I really do. Because I think it's our social responsibility to provide mentorship as we travel through life.
In different formats.
Exactly. You don't have... It's a cringe point for me. It gets a little crunchy when someone tells me, well, I'll just have to do it myself and I'll deal with the repercussions. It's like, well, but I already know that road is flooded. I know it is. So
I'm telling you it is.
If I can tell you, because I know it's flooded. Yeah. If you can just reroute and go the other way so that you don't have to go through the struggle of trying to figure out how to cross that flooded road.
Yeah.
And I wish that more of us would reach back and teach.
Yeah.
But that goes back to being teachable.
As well as not falling into the trap that teaching only comes one way.
Correct.
We get into this is no binary method.
Correct.
To this whole process of mentorship and advocacy.
Yeah.
My thing is, if it comes through a list of 10 thoughts that cause me to press pause and think about, like, what am I grateful? Because you would say,
I still believe.
Every
day.
And what do I believe?
Absolutely, every single day. Every now and then, I'll remind people what it is I believe. But I have to remind myself more than anything else. I still believe.
Yeah.
No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, I still believe. Yeah. These are the things that I still believe God for. Yeah. I still believe that there is good in the earth. I still believe that my best days are ahead of me. I still believe the report of the Lord. Those are the small things that we have to constantly remind ourselves, or we'll be consumed by all of the negativity that we see and hear.
And that causes us to have to press pause and to slow down when everything goes against that very fact.
Correct.
But I was listening to one of our past shows, and Dr. Janet Crone, she had mentioned just the importance of understanding that there's sleep and then there's rest.
Yeah.
And understanding that while we need both, we're having a really hard time with resting.
Yeah.
So I'm also reading this book even at this very moment called rest is resistance.
Yeah.
And resistance not being a negative word, but resistance meaning that we're taking charge, we're
Yeah.
taking claim, we're taking a hold of what it is that is due us, and to be successful, to be healthy,
Yeah.
but also to understand that we are worthy
Yeah.
at the same time. But through these naps, the nap ministry, and it's Trisha Hersey is the author, and she's the founder of the nap ministry. And it's a real thing. You take naps, but it's not about going to sleep. She talks about rest.
Yeah. So I want to elaborate on that a little bit, because we go to sleep, obviously.
And is it really, are we really asleep though?
Right.
That's a whole nother topic, but keep
Right.
going.
That's kind of deep, because we're asleep in the wrong areas.
Okay. Correct. Sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Because many of us
Yeah.
have pressed snooze on life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until we run into a list.
Yeah.
Thoughts from my pen that provokes us.
Yeah.
To stand up. And I keep saying this during social media.
Yeah.
That's part of my rest from social media.
Yeah.
Because rest comes in many ways, not just sleep, but it comes through, as the author and Janet mentioned, it could be a walk in the park without earbuds, without an individual. Yes, let somebody know you're there.
Yeah.
It could be, they said, glaring out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking a drive.
Taking a drive.
Yeah.
It could be even calling a old friend and just say, I was thinking of you.
Yeah.
It's just pulling yourself outside of this grind culture that we're in. And I am trying to pull away from feeling guilty from leaning into that rest. I think I'm pretty good at this point, though.
It's funny, because I just told someone last week, I said, I'm sorry, I will not be able to attend. I'm okay, and thank you so much for the invitation. And they asked me, well, is there a reason? And I'm thinking, like, did you just call me out? I was like, well, I honestly just need to not be busy.
And that's okay.
And I'm okay with that. I am at a place in my life where I don't need to be busy. I only want to do the things that I am called to do for this time. Being able to do it does not mean that I should be doing it.
Correct. That's powerful. And then in understanding, it helps when things are in alignment. And alignment comes through intentionality.
Right.
For me, it was a season some years ago where I think rightfully so, I was doing a number of different things that were just kind of helter-skelter, just kind of all over the place, like a bag of Skittles, all different colors.
Yeah.
And there was a season for that.
Yeah.
But as I matured, I grew, answered a couple calls on my life, running from a few.
Yeah.
But then things began to come into alignment to where no matter where you find me, it's still the same work.
Correct. It's all tied together. It's the same thing in different forms.
Right.
You're now working in your calling versus going there because you can call.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't there yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be there. But for those that want to be there, I want to help them.
And they need to be in a place of wanting to be helped, because you can feel really out of place when you're not busy, but it is just busy. It doesn't mean you're producing.
Nope.
And a lot of us are busy and we're tired.
Yeah.
We're
tired,
snoozing.
Literally tired spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, emotionally. And we're worn out, burned out because we're busy.
Yeah, we're busy. And the sleep doctor, Dr. Janet out of New York, who was on sleepdoctor.com, she even helped us understand that the lack of rest is worse than being intoxicated.
It is.
So if anybody's experienced just a little juice, adult juice, you understand it takes you off your center, right?
Yeah.
And you're not who you normally are.
Correct.
You show up differently. You think differently, if at all. yeah, a whole bunch of stuff is not right.
It's not right. You can't shake it.
So can you imagine if that's the comparison that the sleep doctor mentioned, how we're showing up in life
Yeah.
if we're not rested and getting proper sleep?
Right.
So rest and sleep?
Rest and sleep. Because they're different. They are 100% not the same. Yeah. You can go to sleep every day and still not rest.
It's true.
And I've learned to take rest periods. Yeah. That it's okay to take rest periods.
Yeah.
So that I can show up at my best.
Correct.
So that I can show up, first of all.
And the correct. But the world benefits from us being rested, but it's discipline. Because
It's discipline.
I'm telling you, you don't even realize how on autopilot you are to just do different things. But going back to when you say you were writing and jotting down what was on your mind, it's no different. You know, we have our notebooks and pads and note cards here. The same for those who are watching and listening, understanding that I challenge you. I'm not even going to say 30 days. Just do 7 days. Start with 7 days, on a Sunday morning, and jot down how you spend your time and what you spent it on. You will be amazed. I was.
It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
If you're honest, that's very similar to writing down what you're eating when you're trying to change your diet.
And you're like,
I ate all that? Yeah, it was good.
and you don't even want to. You try to sneak in.
You try to sneak in like I did not eat 9 wings. I didn't. I did. But no, when you write it all down, it's eye-opening.
Yeah.
How you've spent all the time currency. I spent a lot of time posting about time currency. When I started, and it came about because I was writing down why was I so worn out? I realized that the way I split my time and what I was splitting my time on, how much time, because you only get 24 hours in the day if God allows it.
Correct.
You get 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, you're going to give your employer, 8 to 12.
Oh my gosh.
Depending on who that is and what you do, you're going to give them 8 to 12. And you happily give that to them.
Yeah. Some of us.
I just hear
Some of us.
I
I do happily.
That is true. But if I spend 10 minutes with you, see, the thing is that you can't create more time. You can earn more money. You can lose weight. You can gain weight. Yeah. You can buy more things. You literally can lose a car and buy one the same day.
Yeah.
You can buy more stuff. You can get another spouse. Yeah. You can add siblings. You can add children.
You can add a room to the house, right?
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can buy new tires. You can do it. But you cannot buy time. So once you've spent 15 minutes, that 15 minutes is forever gone.
Yeah.
And so I've given you 15 minutes out of my day. I've given this or whatever it is. Yeah. I've given that time out of that day. I can't earn it back.
Right.
And so what is my time currency? Yeah. What am I allowing my spend on? Like, what's that balance? What's my net? What's my return on my investment?
Right. And then what's interesting too, there is there's like a video clip of Dick Gregory, comedian. He's out of St. Louis, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He was during an interview, and he was talking about this time currency, not that exact language, but the same mindset. He said, we have 24 hours in a day. You sleep 8.
Yeah. Maybe.
So to say.
Yeah.
So to speak. So 6 to 8. You working at least 8, but you're commuting.
Yep.
On part of that. That's more than half the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you doing with that little sliver of time? It's a little sliver.
What are you doing with
of time?
What are you doing with it? A lot of us would take work home. You have the work that you do heads up that's in the office.
Yeah.
And then you have all of that heads down work that you need to complete. Yeah. And so you take that home. So where is the quality time? How much are you splitting that?
Yeah.
Exactly who's raising the children, if you have children.
Right.
So
But also, when are you going back to the question? When are you resting?
you're not.
Because it's constant, and then you start all over again,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
As the sun sets, we do what we have to do in that little bit of time because we're rushing home or sitting in traffic for an hour.
Yeah.
And then we get back, and those of us working remote, we ended up winning back a couple hours. Not all of us are working remote, but we have maybe some hybrid action going on. And it does make a difference.
It does.
But it takes discipline.
It takes discipline. So, ironically, we've spent a lot of time browbeating on how the rest happens. That we need rest. So, I can say for me, when it comes to resting and creating that space for rest, I had to learn how to say no. It's a whole sentence. It is. No.
And it is not an easy whole sentence.
It's not. And we have to learn not to be offended by receiving a no.
And be okay with the awkward silence.
Yes. We don't have to feel it
Don't feel it. They said actually begin to practice that muscle.
Yeah.
Don't feel it in. Just sit there and...
No.
Yeah, and it's okay.
And just like, no, I like your blouse.
No. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like,
okay.
What?
We have to become comfortable because we have to stop internalizing every answer and making it about us, how it impacts us. Right. When I shared the story about the person inviting me to something and I told them, no, I won't be able to be there. I appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to be there. And they began to internalize why I wasn't coming. So they were like, well, why? Why? Is there something that I could have done differently? Or I just really wanted, I would really like for you to be there.
Yeah.
You see how they switched it? And, I'm like, well, we have to get okay with hearing no. Yeah. Like I'm prioritizing me.
So not only do we need to get to the point of being comfortable saying no, but we need to be comfortable receiving a no. And it's not personal.
It's not personal. We cannot make that a personal thing. We cannot feel attacked because we heard the word no.
Right.
Let's learn to accept the no and learn to think. And maybe there's an option for something in the future when time allows, but we can't internalize it. Yeah. And that's, again, part of the whole rest cycle. And that goes into layers of, why are we so pained by hearing no?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story about rejection and things of that nature. And just, start making a list.
Yeah. So what's on your list in regards to resting? Like, give me your top 3 things that you've done in the very recent week, I guess.
Very recent? No,
it's one.
No. Secondly, I started working back out.
Okay.
I work out now. And it took a long time to find an app that I really like to work at the gym. But I have thoroughly enjoyed making that time for me. Okay. Like, that's my time. I don't allow anyone to book around that time because that's my time.
Discipline.
Yeah.
And intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started doing, this is weird, but I started walking intentionally.
Okay.
Unrelated to a workout or anything. No headphones, earbuds, or anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to get reacquainted with what I hear.
Okay.
I have been on a journey of guarding my hearing, my seeing. And so I wanted to refresh myself with what I've become numb with white noise. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now I want to refresh my hearing.
Okay.
And so that requires me to walk in the elements and refresh what I've become numb to so that I can hear more intently.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. I know I'm pretty deep sometimes.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
No, but it's true. Those are my top 3 things.
So
top 3 things.
My top 3 in the recent weeks have been shutting off all technology, anything that could pull me into being distracted around 9:15-ish, 9:30-ish. So I will shut some things down, including TV. I really don't do TV Monday through Thursday at all.
I need to pick that up.
But I don't. I used to do this, which it's not a hard thing for me, but I was a big no TV in the bedroom. Seriously, so I don't even turn it on now. Like, maybe Saturday night, but even on Saturday, so I took Dr. Janet's, her advice was to have a disciplined rise time and bedtime and stick with it for all 7 days. Don't change up. Yes, there are things, that somebody's having a birthday party, that's different. But trying to be in your body will begin to communicate to you that it's ready. And so that has been very interesting. Second one would be me getting, like, I was cooking and I fell in love with cooking after the pandemic or during the pandemic. But now I'm learning, because of my schedule, I'm not able to do it. So I started doing all this junk food, I noticed. And, but there was a benefit from that these last couple of weeks, because I would go alone. I would even go alone, like right after work, or just do something with nothing, no laptop, no cell phone. And so dining alone, take yourself on a date.
I love it. I love
and
it.
Just reboot. And some people say, "Oh, that's so awkward." Trust me, it's a beautiful thing.
It's wonderful.
It's a beautiful thing. And then just to kind of just take a deep breath. And so that, like I said, the technology and the media. And then I'll just say the third one was a disciplined bedtime. And I've given myself grace if I slip from one of those different things. But now it's kind of like I don't even want to touch the social media. Social media is Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
So are you an 8-hour sleeper, or what are you comfortable with? Because not
7.
everyone. Okay.
7, about 6.5 to 7.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm like 7.
Okay.
7, I'm great.
Yeah.
And of course, just in the line of what I do, in those peaks, live showtime, it's, 4 hours of sleep, but that can't exist all the time.
No.
But in a perfect world, it would be 7. Okay. That time to just, because when I wake up, I'm up. Like, I don't have to
Oh my God. So I
warm up.
No, I moved my clock, my alarm clock. So I have this sunrise, and you can see the sunrise, and then the birds start getting louder and louder. It's I love my alarm clock, but I had to move it because I was like, and it's 9 minutes between,
Hilarious.
and then it starts, and I'm like, off.
So we were chatting last week, I believe it was, about the snooze button.
Yes.
So I actually started the whole thing of not snoozing.
And it said you feel better when you don't.
It set me free. Now, I will say that, since crossing the half-century mark, when I wake up in the morning, I actually am a morning person, but I now have to sit on the side of the bed just because I can't move that quick. It's like, wait, did I knock something? I got to make sure my check-in light don't come on.
Not check engine.
My check engine light. You move too fast and you throw your back out, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Oh my gosh! But no, so the morning routine thing has worked very good for me. But I'm still trying to nail it down in regards to what that pattern. But like I said, having grace.
Yeah.
But part of it is introducing. Those who are regulars may have heard the 10-10-10 or the 30-30-30 formula. So for me, I do the 10-10-10. So it's the first 30 minutes of the day where you move your body for 10 minutes. You educate yourself on something. So watch either some news or a podcast for 10 minutes. And then you meditate, pray, and journal.
Yep.
Gratitude journaling.
Yeah.
And you do that for 10 minutes. So that's how you start your day. So you can reboot, refresh, check the engine, all that stuff before you get going. Yeah. And it really does make a difference, because whatever comes your way and you're tooled and grounded like that, and then and read that daily bread.
You have to read.
Because today, it's all about rest today, even in the daily bread, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
I got it all topics.
I love the the fact that I have made that time in the morning just to make sure I'm ready to face the day. You know, because sometimes, you know, I smile a lot, but sometimes you just need to encourage yourself. Come on, Donald Lawrence.
Right.
Donald be out here, he be knowing. Yeah, I have to encourage myself. And, you know, every day isn't perfect. Right. Every day is not perfect. And if every day is perfect, then something's wrong.
It's not going to be.
Yeah.
So I want to take the moment just to say thank you and hello. Welcome to those who are just joining us. I am on set at the Dr. Charles M. Roach Legacy Center here in North County, St. Louis, Missouri. Yes, can't you tell? That's my daddy. So excited to be here and just grateful. Uncle Nat, we love you for being so great to us and giving us some of your time to also help us through this process at this point. I want to thank our sponsors and partners, TV Network, ALA Publications, All In Music and Media, Covenant Exchange, KSTL Jubilee 690, Mosaic Ceiling, and Sparkman Publications. I love this place. It makes me so emotional, like so emotional. So this is the wall, like the little wall of fame. And we're here, as I mentioned, Dr. Charles M. Roach Legacy Center here in North County in St. Louis, Missouri. And so him being a first, us being a first family, we get a chance to be able to present a little family wall they blessed us with. And I have to shout out the pastor, Pastor Michael Cleveland and Mrs. Audra Cleveland, who have taken the reins and they're moving forward with the ministry. So blessings to them. But man, thank you so much for keeping the legacy of my dad, my heartbeat, alive. And so here you can see my little peanut head up here with the family and my mom, Lady D over here, and then there's some awards that were given out to my father and also to the church. And so this is us. This is still us, I should say. And love them to death. Absolutely love them to death.
Being in the same field, starting off in communications and marketing, and having the exposure into event marketing that led into production.
Okay.
You know, so all of it has added up to this moment. I'm still one of the very few women of color in the industry at this level. Experiential marketing.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother.
That we will have. We will have.
And so I look at all of those pieces and I laugh because I realize that I don't have complaints and that the next step, what I'm imagining is so small compared to what I know the big picture is. Okay. So to answer your question, what is the next step? To answer your question, there are some plans to implement some things that I've seen in a vision that I've seen that are supposed to happen in St. Louis. Okay. There will be some stages developed because there has to be. Yeah, there are some platforms that are being developed because there has to be, because there's more talent here. Yeah. And then also...
And there's a lot. There's a lot this city has to offer.
100%.
But I believe those, going back to the word snoozing,
Yeah.
or sleep,
Yeah.
in a different context, when you've not experienced other things, and this is not throwing shade, it's just
At all.
that exposure makes the difference.
Makes all the difference. Had I never been exposed to the industry I'm in,
Yeah.
I would have never, ever arrived there. Yeah. Someone exposed me. Why should I hold it close?
Right.
I'm here to share it. I'm here to share the knowledge. Even something as simple as looking at the blighted neighborhoods
Right.
of our city, some which were intentionally blighted.
Right.
We won't talk about that right now. But the opportunity that is there. I noticed that there is a lot of people who have become so bogged down with the sensationalism of the news that they don't see the beauty and the opportunity in what they have. There are literally blocks in this city that you can pretty much buy for pocket change.
But that comes through vision.
You have to have
Because
vision.
while that may be an opportunity, not all of us are positioned. And I don't
Correct.
mean physically, but I mean mentally,
Correct.
financially.
Correct.
Because all those things matter.
They matter.
And while our days are numbered,
Yeah.
back to what we said in the intro, how are you going to shift from success to significance?
Correct.
Meaning, what will be your footprint? What would be your handprint? And then if you knew you had 1 year to be on this earth, what would you do with that year?
Exactly.
And
What
so-
would you do?
So we have these opportunities that we can do, but it's like going back to the expectation and the anticipation. You know, the one common difference between those two words, because sometimes they're used interchangeably, is the attitude.
Yeah.
Your attitude and your mental positioning on what the outcome would be.
So a lot of us have been passing.
Unpack that.
We are, historically, some of us that were biracial would pass,
Gotcha.
but I take that a step further because now it's no longer just, if your skin tone is of a certain way, you can pass in society. I think as a people, we've passed in our education, in our experience. We're looking the part, but we're not getting down to the meat of it and becoming and being the part.
Wow.
We don't have the experience. We don't have the teachable attitude. We don't have that disposition to learn. We are literally acting as if we're shoulder to shoulder with those that have put in 30, 40 years into the industry. Whatever industry that is, we're no longer gleaning from each other. I love the whole entrepreneurial spirit, but there is still something to be said about gleaning from others, leaning into others,
Yeah.
letting others pour into you. We have this whole imposter scenario going on. We spend a lot of time talking about imposter syndrome in corporate America, but we miss the other side of that imposter syndrome. We have this imposter syndrome of feeling like we're not worthy of the position, or that we haven't gone through enough or have enough experience and we're not qualified. Yeah. But what about the flip side of it? When you are qualified and you have the experience, but then you have to manage down because those that are around you can't accept who you are today versus who you were then. So Dr. Roach versus Nikki. Do you see what I mean? Yeah.
But it goes both ways.
But
because
100%.
Yeah, it is. Yes, I'm echoing and agreeing in regards to, while it could be that you are on the receiving end of that, but also on the giving end of that.
Correct.
And giving to yourself.
Correct.
To where it's, you have my head spinning right now because that is so packed and so many layers that we could peel back on this onion for a minute.
Yeah.
Like a whole series.
No,
because
seriously.
it takes us into this space, us being women of color and how we show up in spaces to where we're already having a double burden.
Correct.
Whether you have, and I'm just talking about as an individual, not what you bring with you. You're already going to have a double burden no matter what. And some people will say, oh, I want to come out of the the systemic
Yeah.
influences that are against people of color. However, as I tell individuals, even if you are going and seeking the entrepreneurial route or solopreneur, now you have the world to navigate through, not just a corporation or organization.
Yeah.
So be mindful
Yeah.
of how you set yourself. That was intentional. So there are some other things that you need to anticipate and expect.
Absolutely.
From that.
Absolutely. Being a solopreneur, entrepreneur, doing it all on your own. And I think some people in their minds believe that to be that, you're literally doing it on your own. And you still need a team. You still need people.
And I laugh because I'm in higher ed, and I know
Yeah.
whether I was teaching or whether I am just doing my administrative role, it is so funny because the one thing in the classroom that everyone hates in college, even in high school, is what? Group projects.
Group projects.
Hate group projects.
Yep.
But that's all you do
Yeah.
when you graduate,
That's
or
it.
when you enter the real world. It's going to be a group project. It's going to be you navigating individuals. Even if you are by yourself as an entrepreneur, you still have a team. You need a team to release that product or that service or both.
Yeah.
Because you can do nothing
Nothing.
by yourself.
Nothing. And then the simple graces of learning how to work with a client.
Yeah.
How do you speak with a client and give them that reassurance that they're in the right hands? And then being a solopreneur, entrepreneur, you then realize that there are some areas of the business you're great at. And then there are some areas you may need to have someone else come in and do.
Right, and maybe the very person you don't want to call, but you still need, their skill set. It's real, but it's just amazing how, and I've said this a number of times, but it was just an aha and a weight lifted off of my shoulders when I realized I had gone as far as I could by myself.
Yeah.
As far as I could by myself, and I thought I was doing pretty okay. But once I surrendered, one, to the call, and then two, to the help, because what's crazy, I didn't even have to seek out the help. The help showed up.
Well, all it took was the yes.
So this is why I'm saying this whole attitude between this anticipation and expectation, making sure we're right and in alignment of what that is. God will send it just exactly in the timing. But my issue, it was saying yes to the help.
Yeah. But saying yes to the help is
so that no earlier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the yes.
Both of them are difficult.
Yeah.
Both of them are difficult conversations, and learning when to say yes. When do you know it's right?
Yeah.
And asking for direction. I was walking my dog. I talk about this.
Oh my God,
all
this
the
big
time.
old human being you have.
Brooklyn. She has a middle name. Brooklyn. I was walking her. She's a full figure girl. And so
She is.
she really, she's just 70 pounds. So we're walking and I got a little frustrated because she wasn't like walking for the exercise. I'm trying to walk. And she's like, let me smell this. And, oh, they got new flowers. Let me smell that. And I was getting really frustrated. And then it hit me all of a sudden. I need to be more like Brooklyn. I need to just get out here. That's what literally made me slow down. She was outside and experiencing everything with a fresh perspective. This is a route that she goes on all day, every day.
But she's taking the time to explore. Because how many things do we pass? Because we may drive to work or drive to our...
People we pass.
Yeah.
Things we pass. Not realizing that what we need is right in front of us.
And I always say everything we need,
It's in the house.
you already have it.
Yeah.
You already have it.
Yeah.
Now, there was a question I asked earlier. Yes, I'm going to circle back. I'm paying attention. Do you see yourself from behind, in the front scenes versus the back in the future?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
That is a very uncomfortable yes, because
I get
where have I
it.
been?
behind the scenes.
Exactly.
For many years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've never been one to need my name out there. I've never been one. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm very much used to calling the shots from behind the scenes on a headset. Oh no, bring those lights down, 40. Thank you. Yeah.
But it's not even about a bug that you get. No. I know for me, I love being behind the scenes and I love being the visionary, but I don't have to be the one to actually execute.
Nope.
But the part of the call, and a lot of times, and I love the fact that we are in a legacy center, because there was a point where I had to fall back from my busyness, yet my productivity, which caused me to get into alignment, which was, individuals having an idea of what I should and shouldn't be doing, being the daughter of. And so, but it took me to mature and for me to hear from God and for me to say yes to some things. And yes, some things they're a little low in my yes, but it's a yes, right? And so, but it's like you said, but all these different things, I'm hoping everybody realizes all that is happening is still preparing you. Even if it doesn't feel good, even if it's taking you, it feels like totally out the way. Yeah. There's somebody's way you need to be in to get you back to where God, or not even back, get you to where God wants you to be. No different than, for me, yes, the legacy does continue. However, it shows up differently, because that was one way in which God used my father and my mother. That doesn't, yes, I will mirror it, some parts of it, because I am them. I am both of them. Yes. However, this is the pulpit, right?
Correct.
This is the platform.
Correct.
So it just shows up differently, and we move forward and we own that. But it is very difficult still at the same time, because I know one person also, one mentor told me, you care too much. But my dad had told me also, don't let your niceness be the death of you.
Yeah.
But don't allow pride also to trip you up, because it's two sides of pride.
Yeah.
And he had asked me about something, and he was like, what do you keep saying? And I'm like, I don't know. He says, everything you keep saying is I can't do, I can't this. He said, that's still pride, because it's about you, not about God and what he's called you to do. So I've learned to be obedient and trust the process of what it is that's happening. And honestly, it's not failed.
It won't.
Until I get it.
Right. Until I start to switch the wheel.
Right.
Like, okay, great. Thanks, God. Let me just
I got this. I got this.
You're good, but I'll just be over here. Yeah. It's a different feeling when the yes is right.
Yeah.
You've said yes to the right things and moving slightly differently than what you had always wanted to do.
Right.
And so getting comfortable being out front.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Getting comfortable with it.
But the thing is, you're not surprised, are you?
No.
See, and I tell you, people will always ask, so, what is it? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, you're already, everyone who comes to me and it's like, can I get 15 minutes? Can I talk to you for a moment? Sure. And it's always, I'm just doing this, I'm trying to get into the, I'm like, first of all, now I need to tell them, rest.
Yes.
First of all, let's incorporate some rest, because that's where clarity comes.
That's where it comes from.
But at the same time, I'm like, I tell everybody, trust me, you're in it in some shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, it's already happening.
But you're busy.
Yeah. You're too busy to get clarity.
Yeah.
You're too busy.
Yeah.
You got to say no. It's a whole sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yes to the other stuff.
Yeah. I never thought that writing out what was on my mind would be such a thing. Do you know how many people text me?
I know, and I like to go back to the old ones.
I like to go back to the old ones. I thoroughly enjoy looking at my memories. I'm like, oh, I remember that.
But when do we stop? Even that's rest.
Yeah.
To me, just think about, because you're allowing to pour out what's inside of you that you probably would walk past. Remember we said earlier about walking past people, places, and things. Yeah. But you take the time, you pause. It's allowing you to have a sense of rest. but reflection,
Yeah.
Communion,
Communion.
fellowship,
it's-
even with self, and with God.
I used to joke and say I'd have my self-therapy sessions
And self meaning with yourself.
with myself. But really what it was a time of reflection.
Yeah.
And it is, I can't say past tense because I still do a time of reflection.
Yeah.
Could I have done that differently?
Yeah.
Should I have done that differently?
Yeah.
How can I better improve on this? Oh, and I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what made me smile? Like I have a chart that I use also. And so they have you take like whatever your notebook is and you write a cross and you, not a cross, but a plus sign, and you have these 4 categories and you can put whatever, you really can put whatever you want in those categories, but it gives you an opportunity. What made me smile? What made me feel some sense of sadness or sorrow? What was I excited? What brought me? What was I excited about doing today? And then you can plug something else in.
Yeah.
And so you just take that and you can write in it. They say before you go to bed or either in the morning. Or what am I anticipating today? And each day. But what's interesting is that you'll see how you evolve.
Yep.
And you almost have the start, if not a whole book of your own by stopping to rest and release and reflect. And that you don't even realize how you're setting yourself up by stopping to do that.
Better yet, what I noticed for me, because I started tracking about just before the pandemic. I started literally after I did my random thoughts, I would then go back and document them so that I can see from day to day. And what I noticed is that sometimes there's patterns.
Yep.
Sometimes those patterns came from other behaviors or actions. And so there was looking at the ebbs and the flows. And so I've been able to go back and say, okay, well, wait a minute. Look, this produces this. So we can't land back in this.
Yeah.
So it's funny if you start documenting the clarity that you'll get when you're creating your path versus being led to your path.
Yeah. And it's not a tug of war because I even say when you do feel sometimes that push-pull thing going on, so you're fighting something because there wouldn't be a push and pull at the same time.
Correct.
It would either just be a push and it'd be gone, or it would be a pull and you bring it to you. But when we have some action going back and forth,
Yes.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay
You're off
attention.
kilter.
Yeah.
Something is leaning.
Yeah.
You're off kilter a little bit. It has truly been one of the most heightening times in my senses.
Yeah.
Times in my life. I have so much clarity now. So much.
But it feels good, right?
It does. I hear completely different now.
Yeah. But this is one thing I will say that has to happen. And more people that I speak with, you have to be at this point, and you're there, because we got to get some tips and some insights. You can't have this, but you can have this, but you can't have this if you're not ready to be honest. 100%. And that's what I have noticed over the last 3 years. 2 of those being kind of on lockdown, and then then now we have these years after. People are not ready to be honest. Once you are ready to be honest, and you begin to lean into that honesty, even the ugly, because you can't correct what you don't know, and you
can't correct what you're not willing to accept.
Exactly.
You have to know, and you have to accept. So I fumbled the ball on that. Let me correct this.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's still failure, stumbles, fumbles. You don't even know what's great and what's excellent unless you take one.
I don't trust you if you never took an L.
You have to have a loss.
I'm like, so you've never experienced this? You've never had a loss. You've never fumbled the ball.
But that's going back to your word, normalizing.
Yeah.
We need to normalize.
You need to normalize.
You need to fail in order to have success.
Yeah, yeah.
But we think, again, back to that social media, or as my best friend Tracy says, fake book. She's like, stay off that fake book. But it's getting to this point of really wanting what God has for you, because
Yeah.
He has something literally waiting.
Mind blowing.
And you think you've been living good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just be honest and say no when appropriate, say yes when appropriate, and get some rest, guess what?
The doors. The doors, the amazing
Honey,
doors.
don't have me get up and run.
I'm,
No,
I'm
just
so
kidding.
serious. Like,
It's true though.
it is
It's
so,
true.
But
And so the anticipation and the expectation.
yes.
So we've experienced a foretaste.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what's to come? So I'm looking forward to what it is, and you're not going nowhere.
I'm not.
You locked in. You locked in.
Not.
But I do want to.
I'm
I
at
want to
peace
see.
with it.
So thank you so much for giving us some time and
Thank you
some
for having
insight. As always, much more to say, but this is just the beginning.
It is just the beginning. We are, we're moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward.
Yeah, we're moving forward.
And I'm hoping that you're doing the same, moving forward, understanding that this rest, this expectation, this anticipation, this honesty, all of this is needed, but you've got what you need. Those of you who are positioned, go for it. Find somebody to hook up with, to take you by the arm and by the hand, and to walk with you through this thing. Some parts are alone, but some parts we need each other. But then those of you who aren't ready yet, we are praying and we are rooting for you, because you're next. You're next up. We need you. So I want to say thank you. Again, thank you to our partners and sponsors for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for all that you've done. It has been real. We are ready to go out and live a little bit more and see how we can change not just this city, but this world. The story doesn't end here for us, and it definitely does not end here for you. So don't forget, you already possess everything you need already to be successful, and that's success as you define it, not according to the world. So until next time, I want you to go and make time